David, my son, have you forgotten your mother, man?
Before you scroll, pause for a moment. If your mother called you right now, would you answer, or say, I'll call her back? Somewhere in a small village, a widow sits under a leaking roof, hungry, tired, waiting for her only son who hasn't come home in years. She doesn't want his money anymore, just his voice, but by the time he remembers her, it will already be too late. Watch till the end. This story might remind you to call someone today. In the quiet village of Umueka, there lived a woman everyone called Mama Ifioma, a strong, humble widow whose eyes carried both love and pain. Her husband had died young, leaving her with only one child, David. From the day he was born, she promised herself, even if I drink tears for water, my son will never suffer. She worked from sunrise to sunset, carrying firewood, weeding people's farms, washing clothes for neighbors, just to feed and clothe her son. When other children played, David studied under a kerosene lamp. Mama Ifioma always whispered, my son, your father is gone, but I'm still here. Make me proud. David would nod and say, Mama, one day you rest. I take care of you. Those words became her daily strength. Years passed, and David's hard work paid off. He got a scholarship to study in the city. The whole village celebrated. Drums were beaten. Women danced. Mama Ifioma cried tears of joy. God, thank you, she said. My son will become a great man. In the city, David excelled. He graduated and got a good job. For the first few months, he called home every weekend. Mama, I'm fine. I'll send money soon, he'd say. When she heard his voice, her world felt bright again. She used his first money to repair her leaking roof. She bragged to everyone, my son will build me a house soon. And truly, everyone admired her. But slowly, things began to change. David got busier. His calls became shorter. Mama, I'm rushing to a meeting, I'll call you later. Weeks passed, then months. She would sit by her small radio every evening, waiting to hear the phone ring. Sometimes she'd smile at the road, thinking he was coming home. But he never came. The roof started leaking again. Her legs swelled from walking long distances to sell banana. Sometimes she went to bed without food. Still, she whispered, my son will remember me soon. Her neighbors pitied her. Mama Ifioma, stop expecting too much, one woman said. City life changes people. But Mama Ifioma shook her head. No, not my David. One Saturday morning, a shiny black car stopped in front of her old hut. Children shouted, Mama David. Your son is back. Her heart raced. She ran outside, barefoot, wrapper half-tied. David, she screamed in joy. But when she stretched her arms to hug him, he stepped back, adjusting his fine suit. Mama, please, not in front of my friends. You're embarrassing me. The smile on her face vanished. I'm sorry, my son, she whispered. The villagers stared silently. Some shook their heads. That night, she cooked his favorite meal, pounded yam and egusi soup. But David said, Mama, I already ate in town. She packed the food away quietly, her eyes full of unshed tears. Before leaving the next morning, he said, Mama, I'll send you something next week. He drove off, leaving behind a cloud of dust and a mother's broken heart. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Her radio went silent because she couldn't afford batteries. Her small farm dried up because her legs were weak. Sometimes, she would walk to the roadside, waiting for cars to pass, hoping one might stop and bring her son home. One night, she borrowed a neighbor's phone and called him again. "My son, it's your mother. I just want to hear your voice." He sighed, "Mama, I'm very busy. I'll call you back later." But he never did. She waited. Then she stopped calling. As months went by, the woman who once stood tall began to bend. Her clothes were worn out. Her body grew thinner. The villagers took turns giving her food. Some mocked her, "Where is your big man son now?" She would smile weakly and say, "He'll come back. My son is not wicked." One afternoon, heavy rain started. Her roof leaked badly. She tried to move her mat, but slipped and fell. She lay there, whispering, "God, keep my son safe, even if he forgets me." That was the last prayer she ever said. By morning, her neighbor, Mama Ojeki, found her lying still. She shouted her name, but there was no answer. The village mourned deeply. They buried her beside the mango tree she planted years ago, the one she always said she'd sit under when her son built her new house. That day, even the sky wept. 3 months later, David returned to the village in a new car. He came with gifts, bags of rice, and money. He smiled proudly as he called, "Mama. Mama, I'm home." No answer. He called again, louder, "Mama." The compound was silent. Dust covered everything. He ran to the backyard and froze. A small wooden cross stood beside the mango tree. His mother's name was carved on it. He dropped to his knees, shaking. "No, no. Mama." The villagers came out slowly. Mama Ojeki said, "She waited for you till her last breath. She called your name even in her sleep." David screamed and hit the ground with his fists. "Mama, I'm sorry. I was coming home. I just wanted to make more money." But the grave was silent. He stayed there till night, crying like a child. From that day, David was never the same. He sold his big car and used the money to help the poor in the village. He built a new house beside his mother's grave, not for himself, but for widows who had no shelter. Every morning, he sat by her grave and whispered, "Mama, I remember now. But I wish remembering came earlier." Moral lesson. The story of David and his mother spread across many villages. Elders began to tell young people, when you forget your parents, your success loses meaning. Even the pastor said during a sermon, the loudest cry is not heard from the living, it's from the grave of a forgotten mother. My friend, wherever you are watching from, call your parents today. Don't wait until they're gone to buy them flowers they can't smell. Some of us are running so fast to make money that we're losing the people who loved us before we had a name. If your mother or father is still alive, type, "Thank you, Mama," or "Thank you, Papa" in the comments. And if you believe no parent deserves to die in silence, share this story, subscribe, like and comment because someone, somewhere, needs to be reminded today. Thank you so much for watching.